Okay, this video is how to wire a Christmas tree. First, gather all your supplies.
Hey, get in there. Okay, welcome to video number 2. This is going to be basic wiring for Christmas trees, small and large.
Bye.
And the video is by Dick Pagano from Pagano Creations, and Dale's running the camera. Okay, you're going to get a standard Christmas tree base, and it's going to have 2 holes in it. It's going to have the hole in the top. This is where the wiring comes through to go into the socket. Once we start putting it together, this will all make sense. Now, that's the front of the piece. On the back of the base, there's another hole where the wiring goes through the base to keep it from wobbling on the table. Okay? Now, when we send you the kit is going to contain a bulb for the large Christmas tree, 1 socket, 1 pal nut. This is a nut and washer combined. The other option is the nut and washer separated. If you put them together, makes a pal nut. We're not going to use these 2 today. We're going to use the pal nut today. You're going to get 2 rubber washers. You're going to get a nipple. And you're going to get a 6-foot cord with a switch and a mounted plug. You're going to need 2 tools to put this all together. You're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver. Now, a Phillips head screwdriver has got a cross point where a flathead screwdriver has a straight blade. You need that one, the cross point, the Phillips head. On the wire.
What's the other tool?
Oh, I'm sorry. And you're going to need a standard pair of pliers. Excuse me. On your wire, there's 2 separate wires that are joined. On the outside casing of the wire, one of the wires is smooth and the other one has strips on it. Can you see the strips? You can't see them. Okay. It's got ridges on the outside of the insulation on the wire. One wire is smooth, the other one is ridged. Okay? That's going to be your important part. The ridged wire goes to the silver screw. If you don't have the proper wire on the proper screw, you cannot use an LED bulb. LED bulbs are circuit consistent, which means that wire corresponds with the blade on the plug. And that's the only way you can get an LED bulb to work in this socket. Okay, so now for the the wiring itself. Let me make a point here. Just in case you didn't buy this base from us, make sure that this nipple will fit cleanly in the top hole of the base. If this does not fit in that top hole, you can't wire it. Okay, so now that we know it fits, let's get down to the wiring. Take both wires, put it through the back hole in the base. So that's all you've got. You've got the wire coming through the back hole in the base. Now comes the important part of placement. You got to put your pal nut over the wire with the rounded pot first. There's a flat end and a rounded end. Put the rounded end over the wire first. Just like that. And just let it go. Take one of the rubber washers, put that over the wire, and let it drop. Next goes your nipple. Put the wire through the threaded rod, the all thread, and let it drop. Now you've got to take this wire and put it through the top hole in the base. Just like that. So now your wire comes in the back and comes out the top with your socket assembly inside. Now on the top of the base, the second rubber washer goes onto the wire. On the back of the base, on the back of the socket, make sure that the screws are loose so that you can get the wire around the screws. Now remember the silver screw? That gets the wire with the grooves in the insulation. So when you line the wire up to go through the socket, try and keep the grooved wire on the silver screw side. Now this is the silver screw. This is the grooved wire. This is the brass screw. This is the plain wire. When you wrap the wire around the screw, go in a clockwise direction. And there's a slot in the socket for the wire. Now what that does, when you put the wire on the screw in a clockwise direction, when you tighten the screw, it's going to pull that wire around the screw and tighten it up. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side with the brass screw and the ungrooved wire.
So you make a little hook and goes around the screw.
Right. Most of the time it's a lot easier when you can look at it instead of trying to show the camera.
Yeah.
And then you tighten the screw. Now, did you see that wire hook right around the screw? That's why you do it in a clockwise direction. Now, from this point, turn it over. You take the threaded nipple and put it through the hole. You're going to take the nipple and thread it into the bottom of the socket, just until you can see 2 or 3 threads coming through. Okay? Now you can take the wire, pull it back, and neaten it up so that you've got your rabbit ears. You got one on each side. Okay? So now you're going to take this whole assembly. I prefer to do it upside down because it's a lot easier that way. Grab the wire from inside and just pull it up so that the socket sits flush on the base. Everyone with me so far? Now inside here, you've got your rubber washer and your pal nut. The first 2 things that we put on the wire. Bring your rubber washer around so that it goes over the nipple. Bring your pal nut over so that it drops onto the nipple. By hand. I know, I got big hands.
Oh, you finger tighten it?
Just finger tighten. Just bring it all. Can you see it better like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Just bring it all together so that it's tight. Once you get it finger tight, take your pliers, grab just the pal nut, and turn it till it's snug. Depending on how tight you made it with your fingers, will determine how many turns you need to tighten it. Now, when you get it snug, you've got a rubber washer on both sides, which will hold the nut and the socket in place. Give it a 1/4 turn. That's all you're gonna need. That'll make the socket tight. It'll make the wire tight. You can neaten this up by pulling it through the back. And that's a completed socket. And I always recommend, before you send them out, that you test it. Okay. Now I gotta go to the plug.
Right there.
Completed and tested wired Christmas tree base.
And we should say that we are not electricians. If you don't feel comfortable doing your own, take it to someone who's a professional. But it's a very basic, simple kit.
And don't forget, you saw this at Pagano Creations. Like us on Facebook and check out our website at paganoceramics.com. Thank you.